this month is Black History Month, and we're celebrating by doing art that is inspired by people who we think are inspiring and characters that we think are inspiring. First up is Amanda Gorman. Amanda Gorman is 22 years old and grew up in California with her mom and 2 siblings, including a twin sister. She studied sociology at Harvard College, and she recited her poem, The Hill We Climb, at President Biden's inauguration, and also recently penned a poem that preceded the coin toss at this year's Super Bowl. Whoa. She's passionate and energetic and articulate, and knows that words matter and words have power. I love people who can craft words into art. So here I am basing the painting. It's gonna look super funny for quite a while before it starts looking good. Yellow's always so bad at being opaque. Yellow and red are the worst.
Look at her funny face right now.
I know, she looks so weird for such a long time. Did you know that she has a speech impediment which prevented her from saying certain letters, including the letter R, until very recently? She had to practice saying R's. It's like you guys, you both have a stutter, right? And she practices the letters that she has trouble with, and you guys practice getting through it when your stutters kick in. But I like that she's a twin and she's close to her sister because you guys are sisters, and sisters are pretty cool.
Yeah.
Her teeth looked super weird there for a minute. Did you notice?
Yeah.
I did blobs and I wanted to kind of cut them in nice and straight, but I had to let the white dry. So there was like a chunk of time where I was just staring at these janky teeth and being super excited about it.
Not there, right?
It's definitely a painting that looks like a painting. It's not a painting that looks like a photograph. I'm always amazed by people who do the photorealistic paintings. It's, it's time consuming and there's a lot of skill involved, but I like, if I'm gonna look at a painting, I kind of like it to look like a painting. So I like it when you can see the brush strokes and you can see kind of the evidence of the artist. That makes me happy. So that's how I paint. Her hair was the most fun to paint, for sure. Yeah. It was simple and it turned out looking so good, I think. Amanda is a big inspiration, I think, for young people. She's a whopping 22 years old. So it's nice that she's doing so well and getting so much recognition because it's inspiring, I think, for young people when somebody young and creative and talented, I don't know. Do you feel like you have more of a voice when somebody who's young like you is getting such a big stage? Do you feel represented?
Yeah.
It's nice to see young people, things like the inauguration, right? Yeah. And not just a whole bunch of old people who can't relate to you. This presidential seal was the circles were so much trouble getting the circles to line up and be circular. And eventually you can see that I'm tracing around different lids and plates and things, trying to get these circles to not be quite so horrifying. So this was a painting for a friend. It's her birthday. Happy birthday, Anna. She's a big fan of Amanda Gorman. Anna's mom asked me to paint this painting for Anna's birthday, and they loved her speech at the inauguration, but they really, really loved the colors of her coat and of the red in her hair. And so they asked me to sort of modify things. I made it so that the podium was translucent and all the photographs, the microphones kind of cover up her chin. So I dropped the microphones lower so that more of her face and more of her outfit showed and made the podium clear. Eventually it's gonna get a white matte kind of cropping it in, so a lot of the blue isn't gonna show. But yeah, I'm really happy with how it turned out. But the stars are very hand-painted, a million little stars. No one is alike. They're all delicate little individual flowers. Unique and beautiful.
Introducing civil rights icon Ruby Bridges. I'm drawing an animation.
In 1954, Brown versus the Board of Education was decided and public schools were expected to desegregate. Change came slowly in some parts of the country. 6 years later, in 1960, in New Orleans, where Ruby lived, the school board decided to administer an entrance exam to Black children. Ruby was among the 6 that passed, and she became the only Black student to attend William Franz Elementary School that year. She was 6 years old and had to be escorted to school each day by federal marshals to protect her from protesters who were opposed to integration. Her family sacrificed a lot. Her father lost his job, they weren't allowed to shop at the local store, and her grandparents lost the farm that they were sharecropping. Her mother was adamant that education was important and that the sacrifice would be worth it for Ruby, her siblings, and for all other Black children in the country.
In 1999, Ruby founded the Ruby Bridges Foundation, and she speaks to young people across the country about the values of tolerance, respect, and appreciation for all differences.
What program are you using?
It's an app called Flipaclip, and I'm pretty sure it's free.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it is. I used to use it.
Yeah, Flipaclip is nice. It's not intimidating because there's not as many buttons and there's not as many things you can do. But we found while Sam was working on this that not being as robust and not having as many things that it could do kind of made it harder in the long run. Like, it's simpler to kind of get your head around it, but then it's harder to actually get things done. I think it turned out really, really good though. You did this all by yourself.
Yeah.
She was in 1st grade and you were in 1st grade, and I think it's perfect that you drew her because you're the same age. And I was so impressed because you did this whole animation by yourself until the end when you were doing the walk cycle and we were trying to figure out how to copy and paste it, and that ended up taking me and Ty and you, all 3 of us combined, Sam and I, to get it wrong and then Ty to come in and fix things.
Because I had already used the program for a little bit.
Yeah, so you knew what to do. We did not know what to do. But I was so impressed. I mean, it was your concept and your design. You designed the character. You kept it nice and simple, which is good when you're going to animate it. And you decided what she was going to say. And you put yourself in there. I mean, it's just so darn cute. I was so impressed. Here's us trying to figure out the walk cycle. Ty to the rescue. She's like, no, it's just easy. Here you go. I cut out the probably hour of Sam and I going, I don't know. What's going on? I don't know. And there's your little heart, the appearing and then vanishing heart.
The appearing is like...
It's like a bubble. It's like a heart bubble.
Ruby!
Hi, I'm Ruby, and I'm the first Black kid to go to a white school.
Yup!
Hey, Samo.
Hi.
Bye. Wait, I forgot to tell you something. I wrote a book too. Happy Black History Month. Okay, now bye. So we really like Spider-Man Into the Spiderverse.
Yeah.
And I drew the main character, Miles Morales.
Yeah. Is it your favorite movie, Ty?
I mean, it's up there.
Yeah. Sam, is it your favorite movie?
It's super far up there.
Super far up there? Yeah, it's one of my favorite movies too. I love this movie.
It's super good.
I couldn't figure out what pose I wanted to do, so off camera I traced the pose of another image of him.
Yeah, and then you changed it up because the arms are definitely in kind of different places. So you've got your construction lines in red, and now you're doing your line work.
Miles first appeared in the comic Ultimate Fallout number 4 in 2011. He is a biracial Spider-Man with a black father and a Puerto Rican mother, and he lives in Brooklyn, New York. He is 13 years old, a nerd, and an artist.
Yeah, relatable, right? He's 1 year older than you, and you're a nerd, and you're an artist. Perfect. Spider-Man is kind of a universally beloved character, and representation is important. So Miles being the first Black Spider-Man is super important. That foot gave you a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was the first time in a long time where a trailer came out for a movie, and I saw the trailer and I went, I have to see that movie. I like movies and we watch them, but I don't get super excited about them based on trailers. And this one got me excited because the style, the art was such a good mashup of good things.
Yeah.
They did a really, really good job. And then On top of that, the story is really good. The characters are all relatable. It's super funny. I think the message is anyone can be Spider-Man. Anybody could wear the mask. And that when the movie came out, it inspired the Spider-Sona thing in the art community. Well, even non-artists were doing Spider-Sonas. Yeah, I did a quick search on DeviantArt for Spider-Sona, and I could have spent years, I think, probably scrolling through them all. It was unbelievable. Such an inspiration.
Yeah.
And then I went in with a spray paint-ish brush, and I just kind of messed with it.
Very appropriate. Yeah, really good color choices, too.
Fade from red to like a
There
pinky
you go.
red.
Do you remember what that filter was called?
Halftone.
It was just the halftone filter.
Yeah.
And did you have it set on like, color burn or anything?
I think I had it set on screen.
Oh, interesting. Because you got
Yeah.
some really fun effects happening there. What?
And then I put the glitch effect on it.
Nice. Yeah. Super appropriate.
Because it's glitchy.
It's a very glitchy movie.
And then I was experimenting, so I just kind of duplicated everything so that I would have the original drawing.
Yeah, preserved. And then you can mess with it. Smart. It's very smart. Did you merge it all together and copy it over and then do an overlay for the rim light?
I tried this like tutorial thing that I saw, and it's originally for another program.
Yeah, it needed that rim light. That really sets him off. So good. Fun to experiment with the halftone and the filters too, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I added
No,
some
I
of the
don't wanna
halftone
try
on the shadows too.
Yeah. Nice.
And the whole time I was listening to Sunflower.
Yeah, appropriate.
Mm-hmm.
So good, kiddo.
Yeah. It's so good.